we are going to be reading our next two chapters, chapters 15 and 16, okay? And let's review. We know now that Opal has bought the leash. She's gotten the leash and the collar, right? Because she worked hard at the pet store. She's hanging out with new friends. Ms. Gloria Dump, Franny Block. Who else? Pinch-faced Amanda, Sweetie Pie, right? We have a lot of characters in our story. We haven't heard from the preacher in a while. We haven't seen him too much. That's Opal's dad, remember? So today we're gonna read, let's get Somi and Addison. All right, good deal. If you guys are gonna be doing the Minecraft challenge this week, make sure you turn it in today, okay?
Oh, we're going to be creating Mars.
Yeah, if you want to. Remember, that was the one that went out for this week, right? All right, we're waiting on Somi. Is he having trouble getting on? Yeah, it's fine. It keeps saying that, like I click admit and it says joining and then it just stops. Yeah.
Okay. They're coming.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I don't know if not everybody's heard the interesting animal fact of the day. I know Troy's heard it, and I think Dom's heard it, but not everyone else has heard it yet. The interesting animal fact for today is that a rhinoceros's nose is made out of hair. Is that not the weirdest thing you've ever heard? It's weird. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is weird.
Don't unmute yourself, okay, hon? All right. What's up, David?
I didn't hear the fun fact.
Okay, the fun fact was a rhinoceros's horn is made out of hair. Is that weird or what?
Definitely strange.
It's very strange, yes. All right, Somi's here. Good morning, Somi. Hi. All right. Hi, there you go. Oh, there's my dog. Sorry, I don't know why he barks. He barely ever barks. Somebody must be near the door. Okay, chapter 15. Litmus W. Block was just a boy when the firing on Fort Sumter occurred, Miss Franny Block said as she started in on her story. Now let's remember, the end of last chapter, Opal asked if she could tell her a story, remember? And she said, suit yourself, because Amanda said she didn't want to stay and listen to it. She goes, now where was I? Oh yes, Litmus W. Block. So that's where we are. She's starting to tell her story to Opal. Fort Sumter, I said. It was the firing on Fort Sumter that started the war, said Amanda. Okay, I said, I shrugged. Well, Litmus was 14 years old. He was strong and big, but he still was just a boy. His daddy, Artley W. Block, had already enlisted, and Litmus told his mama that he could not stand by and let the South get beat, so he went to fight. Miss Franny looked around the library, and then she whispered, men like to go to war. I don't know why, but they do. They like to represent their country. Anyway, Litmus went and enlisted. He lied about his age. Like I said, he was a big boy and the army took him, and Litmus went off to war just like that. He left behind his mother and his 3 sisters. He went off to be a hero. Well, Opal said, that sounds sad. War, said Miss Franny. You cannot imagine. It is very, very sad. Did he get killed? I asked Miss Franny. Good grief, said Amanda. She rolled her eyes. Now, Opal, Miss Franny said, I wouldn't be standing here in this room telling this story if he was killed. I wouldn't exist. No, ma'am. He had to live, but he was a changed man. Yes, ma'am, a changed man. He walked back home when the war was over. He walked from Virginia all the way back to Georgia. He didn't have a horse. Nobody had a horse except for the Yankees. He walked, and when he got home, there was no home there. What about his sisters? Amanda asked. She moved around the desk and came and sat on the floor. She looked up at Miss Franny. What happened to them? They died. Oh no. Yes, ma'am, said Miss Franny Block. Litmus was an orphan. This is a sad story, I told Miss Franny. It sure is, said Amanda. I was amazed that she was agreeing with me about something. I am not done yet, Miss Franny said. Winn-Dixie started to snore, and I nudged him with my foot to try to make him quit. I wanted to hear the rest of the story. It was important to me to hear how Litmus survived after losing everything he loved. Now we're on the next chapter. Well, Litmus came home from the war, said Miss Franny as she went on with her story, and found himself alone. And he sat down on what used to be the front step of his house and he cried. He missed his mama and his daddy and his sisters, and he missed the boy he used to be. When he finally finished crying, he had the strangest sensation. He felt like he wanted something sweet. He wanted a piece of candy. He hadn't had a piece of candy in years, and it was right then that he made a decision. Yes, ma'am. Litmus W. Block figured the world was a sorry affair and that it had enough ugly and sad things in it, and what he was going to do was concentrate on putting something sweet in it. He got up and started walking. He walked all the way to Florida, and the whole time he was walking, he was planning. Planning what? I asked. Why, planning the candy factory. Did he build it? I asked. Of course he did. It's still standing out on Fairfield Road. That old building, said Amanda. That big spooky one? It's not spooky, said Miss Franny. It was the birthplace of the family fortune. It was there that my great-grandfather manufactured the Litmus lozenge, a candy that was famous the world over. I've never heard of it, said Amanda. Me neither, I said. Well, said Miss Franny, they aren't made anymore. The world, it seems, lost its appetite for Litmus lozenges, but I still happen to have a few. She opened the top drawer of her desk. It was full of candy. She opened the drawer below that. It was full of candy too. Miss Franny Block's whole desk was full of candy. Would you care for a Litmus lozenge? She asked Amanda and me. Yes, please, said Amanda. Sure, I said. Can Winn-Dixie have one too? I have never known a dog that cared for hard candy, said Miss Franny, but he is welcome to try one. Miss Franny gave Amanda one Litmus lozenge and me two. I unwrapped one and held it out to Winn-Dixie. He sat up and sniffed it and wagged his tail and took the candy from between my fingers real gentle. He tried to chew on it, and when that didn't work, he just swallowed the whole thing in one big gulp. Then he wagged his tail at me and lay back down. I ate my Litmus lozenge slow. It tasted good. It tasted like root beer and strawberry and something else I didn't have a name for. Something that made me feel kind of sad. I looked over at Amanda. She was sucking on her candy and thinking hard. Do you like it? Miss Franny asked me. Yes, ma'am, I told her. What about you, Amanda? Do you like the Litmus lozenge? Yes, ma'am, she said, but it makes me think of things I feel sad about. I wonder what in the world Amanda Wilkinson had to feel sad about. She wasn't new to town. She had a mama and a daddy. I'd seen her with them. There's a secret ingredient in there, Miss Franny said. I know it. I told her, I can taste it. What is it? Sorrow, Miss Franny said. Not everybody can taste it. Children especially seem to have a hard time knowing it's there. I taste it, I said. Me too, said Amanda. Well then, Miss Franny said, you probably both had your share of sadness. I had to move away from Watley and leave all my friends, I said. That is one sadness I've had. And Dunlap and Stevie Dewberry are always picking on me. That's another sadness. And the biggest one is that my mama left me when I was small. And I can hardly remember her. I keep hoping I'll get to meet her and tell her stories. It makes me miss Carson, said Amanda. She sounded like she was going to cry. I have to go. And she got up and almost ran out of the Herman W. Block Memorial Library. Who's Carson? I asked Miss Franny. She shook her head. Sorrow, she said. It's a sorrow-filled world. But how do you put that in a piece of candy? I asked her. How do you get that taste in there? That's the secret, she said. That's why Litmus made a fortune. He manufactured a piece of candy that tasted sweet and sad at the same time. Can I have a piece to take to my friend Gloria Dump? And another one to take to Otis down at Gertrude's Pets? And one for the preacher? And one for Sweetie Pie too? You may have as many as you want, said Miss Franny. So I stuffed my pockets full of Litmus lozenges and I thanked Miss Franny for her story and I checked out Gone with the Wind, which was a very big book. And I told Winn-Dixie to get up and the two of us left and went over to Gloria Dump's. I rode right past the Dewberry's house. Dunlap and Stevie were playing football in the front yard and I was just getting ready to stick my tongue out at them, but then I thought about what Miss Franny Block said and about not judging them and being unkind. So I just waved instead. They stood up and stared at me, but when I was almost all the way past, I saw Dunlap put his hand up in the air and wave back. Hey, he hollered. Hey, Opal. I waved harder and I thought about Amanda Wilkinson and how it was neat that she liked a good story the same as I did. And I wondered again, who was Carson? And that's the end of those two chapters.